The Bond and the Chain, on 401ks, Wall Street, and the Subtle Enslavement of the Middle Class, by Elias Winter, April 28, 2025. Read by an automated voice. There is a lie hidden inside the small comforts of empire. It is not the lie of freedom, which every child of empire learns to recognize by instinct. It is a subtler lie, the lie of participation. The lie that says, you are part of this. The lie that says, you own this. The lie that says, you have a stake. They sold it to you through the 401k. Not through blood or land or memory, but through a line item, a deduction, a promise folded into a paycheck, a promise that said, you are not a serf, you are an owner. And because you were tired, and because you were afraid, and because the cost of seeing it clearly was too great, you believed them. Today, the American stock market stands as the altar of that promise. But it is an altar built on fraud. The top 10% of Americans own nearly 89% of all stocks. The remaining 90%, the workers, the clerks, the nurses, the teachers, the small-town faithful, own the scraps, a fragment of ownership carved out just wide enough to keep them invested in the survival of a system that cannibalizes them. They call it democratization. It is not. It is co-optation. A psychological chain sold in the language of opportunity. The 401k was never about retirement security. It was about creating mass complicity. When the traditional pensions of the post-war era began to strain, when globalization and financialization began to hollow out the real economy, the ruling class faced a choice: admit the system was collapsing, or redistribute the risk downward and pretend the collapse was empowerment. They chose the second. They told you that you could own your future, that you could invest in your retirement. But what they built was a cage of incentives, where your survival became dependent on the health of the very forces that were driving you into precarity. You were no longer merely a worker. You became a hostage cheering for the Dow to rise even as your wages stagnated, a hostage defending stock buybacks even as your neighbors lost their jobs, a hostage praying for corporate profits even as the corporations poisoned your water, closed your hospitals, and offshored your children's futures. And nowhere is this captured more perfectly than in the comment sections of the New York Times. The aging professional class, the managers, the academics, the liberal technocrats, mouth the slogans of equity and justice, while subconsciously protecting the only thing that matters, their 401ks. They do not think of themselves as defenders of Wall Street. But they are. They are not evil. They are not even particularly greedy. They are afraid. They are people who spent a lifetime climbing the meritocratic ladder, only to find that the ladder was suspended over an abyss. And now their hands are clamped white-knuckled around the rungs, and they will not let go, even if it means everyone below them falls. They will rationalize it. They will call it pragmatism. They will call it protecting the system. They will call it being responsible. But what they are protecting is not democracy. It is not justice. It is not truth. They are protecting their right to a comfortable death. This is not merely an economic arrangement. It is a moral architecture. The system does not need you to own much. It only needs you to feel like you do. A 401k with $150,000 in it. An index fund tied to the S&P 500. A thin sliver of ExxonMobil or Google stock in a target date fund. Just enough to make you fear disruption. Just enough to make you identify with the masters instead of the slaves. Just enough to make you complicit. Because if you believe your survival depends on the stock market, Then you will cheer when it rises, even if the bodies of your brothers and sisters are the stairs it climbs. And yet, even this horror is not complete. There is another layer beneath it, more pitiful still. You have no real power over the companies you own. Your 401k contributions are pooled. They are funneled through BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, and those institutions, which vote your shares on your behalf, are not accountable to you. They vote for management. They vote for profits. They vote for layoffs, for buybacks, for the extraction of every last drop of blood from the planet. You are not an owner. You are ballast, a piece of cargo used to steady the ship as it sails toward ruin. The brilliance of the system is that it requires no conspiracy, no secret meetings, no grand architects. It operates through the quiet fear of millions who know, deep down, that they are being betrayed, but who cannot bear to risk their piece of the betrayal. They are the obedient guards at the gates of their own imprisonment. They are the ICE agent who believes he is protecting the homeland. They are the NYT commenter who believes he is protecting democracy. They are the good men who believe their goodness can be preserved by looking away. And so the question comes, when you watch corporations announce mass layoffs and see the stock price rise, when you watch factories close and feel a small surge of relief that your index fund will stay afloat, when you hear the drumbeat of endless growth and efficiency and shareholder value, and you do not recoil, whose side are you on? What part of yourself have you already sold? And when the flood comes, not of immigrants, but of hunger, collapse, and reckoning, will you stand with the ones who still bleed? Or will you cling to your little ledger, your little illusion of ownership, and drown in the ruins of the system you chose not to question? There is no neutral ground. The bond is the chain. The comfort is the compliance. And the only freedom left is the courage to name it, to break the spell, to stand, even trembling, in the clarity that the market will not save you, and to choose, with whatever trembling hand you have left, not the side of the masters, but the side of the human being, even if it costs you everything. Elias Winter, author of Language Matters, a space for reflection on language, power, and decline. Thanks for reading Language Matters. Subscribe for free to receive new posts and support my work.